please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jem Morgan, Kingman resident, District 1 constituent. So I'm here today in peaceful protest of Luana Gillette's presence on this commission, specifically because of her racist worldview, that we need to stop minorities, immigrants from coming here to save this country from the browning of America. A worldview that is fueling domestic terrorism across the nation, such as the recent mass shooting in an El Paso Walmart. Today is the 18th anniversary of 9/11, an act of terrorism based on a different racist worldview. Worldviews have consequences. Every one of you, when you applied to be appointed to this commission, filled out the 6-page application, which included a full-page commission members' ethics code prior to signing. I quote, "I realize that mine is a county trust, that I represent all the people," and the paragraph that goes on to say, "Respecting the dignity and worth of the individual, I shall base my relations with people on their qualities as individuals without distinction as to race or creed or gender or color or economic or social status. I believe that a person's greatest possession, as well as his or her greatest contribution to society, may lie in the ways in which he or she differs from me rather than in the ways in which we are similar. I shall accept these differences and try to build a useful relationship upon them." Calling for minorities to stop coming here because we need to fight against the browning of America violates this code of ethics. And I call on Michael Gordon and Larry Morris as leadership of this commission to call for Luana Gillette's resignation. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other slips for people signed up for the call to the public, we'll move on to item number 1. Go ahead and approach. Nobody else signed up for it, but we'll take one more.
I apologize. I was told, I went back to sign up and someone told me I didn't have to for the call to public. Is that incorrect?
It's been typical to sign up for.
Okay, well, I will remember to do that. But she specifically said, "Oh, you don't have to do that if you're just doing the call to the public." I apologize. Okay, my name is Sharon Weber, and I live here in Kingman in the old downtown. And I am here today to speak to the issue. First, I would like to say that I have absolutely no personal dislike or hatred or vendetta against anyone on this board or the supervisors board. Whether I agree or disagree with anyone, I do not believe in hatred as a way of thinking and a way of living, and that is absolutely not true. Absolutely. My concern about this issue, about Ms. Gillette's comments, first, she had also said that she doesn't believe that the things that she has said are racist. And there was a lot of rhetoric. It is clearly in almost every, Southern Poverty Law, the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, in all the different watchdog groups' policies, that specific language is considered racist. I have chosen to use the word bias because it seems to be more friendly and less threatening. Okay. Today is 9/11. When 9/11 occurred, President Bush said they hate us because they envy our freedom. But they hated us for another reason. They hated us because of words and language that told them they should hate us. And this is why hate speech is inappropriate. There also is a clear policy in the county, a non-discrimination policy. Just as there is in many workplaces around the country. Police departments, hospitals, schools. I worked for the schools for 25 years. If I would have used that language, I would have been dismissed because I had to serve children who were of diverse backgrounds. My husband was in management all the years I've known him. He's had to dismiss many workers. He's retired now, retired last year. On more than one occasion in the last few years, he had to dismiss workers for using language that was considered biased or racist or inappropriate in the workplace. It does happen. And certainly for county leaders, I would think it would be really, really important that y'all realize that you're leaders of the community. People look to you for guidance and leadership. So I think the issue should be addressed. And addressed without snarky remarks, without people making fun of how outrageous it is for us to expect our county leadership to be non-biased. And now I'm just going to read what I did prepare. Okay. Thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions become habit. And habit becomes character. And character becomes our destiny. Racist thought and action says far more about the person they come from and the group they come from than the person or group they are directed at.
We do have a 2-minute limit, and could you please sum it up?
So I'm asking you all to consider some positive response and to assure the public that bias is not going to be applied by anyone in the county to anyone in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Seeing no hands, we'll close the public input and move on to item number 1.
Item number 1 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 402-33123 to allow for a maximum 160-foot wireless communication tower in a CRE commercial recreation zone in the Beaver Dam vicinity in the Arizona Strip. Staff recommends approval with the standard conditions.
Thank you. We have one person signed up to talk on it, and it's Bridget Llewellyn.
Hi, that's Bridget Lewison. I was really glad to see that you're looking into approving another cell tower, and as anybody who's driven in the area knows that the service there is very spotty, and communication is a very important thing. It's not just for the personal good, it's for the common good, and it's really hard to do business when you can't talk to somebody. And speaking of communication, I, since 1991, have been a professional journalist, public relations, and marketing professional. And Ms. Gillette's comments, as somebody who's had to handle a lot of issues in marketing and PR, this county is doing a terrible job with the bad PR that you've been getting over her comments in the national media. And it started with Sasha Cohen's Showtime special that put Kingman in a really bad spotlight with his fake town hall.
Excuse me, could you stick to the item? We had to call to the public, but this is for item number 1,
Okay.
and we've moved on.
This is about communication, and the cell towers help everyone to communicate.
Thank you.
So I I would like to encourage Mohave County to communicate better for the common good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any discussion by the commission? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for staff recommendation.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Abbott and a second by Commissioner Powers. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2.
Item number 2 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 402-64111 from an RE 10-acre minimum lot size zone or residential recreation 10-acre minimum lot size zone to a highway commercial zone to bring the parcel into conformance in the Beaver Dam vicinity in the Arizona Strip. Staff recommends approval with the standard conditions.
Thank you, Chris. We have one person signed up to discuss it, and that's Robin Farin.
So Robin Farron wasn't able to be here. I'm just speaking on behalf of her just briefly. I will not read her statement. I will respect your request to speak to the agenda items. The point of why...
Could you please state your name again and
Robin
address?
Farron, yes, Robin Farron of the One Coalition. She wasn't able to be here today, and she asked for me to speak on her behalf. I will respect your request for the agenda items to be focused on the specific agenda items. We came here in peaceful protest, and the point of speaking at each individual agenda item was to make the point that every single agenda item that comes across this commission's table is another opportunity for racism to have influence upon the decisions. That's the whole point of having each one of us speak. But we won't. I will respect your request to focus on the agenda item. But we still are making our peaceful protest of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment for the speaker. Now, we're talking about your comments to this item. I've been on the commission most of 12, 13 years. We have an attorney that sits there normally. And if there's anything that we do and any reaction that we have to any issue, it's called on by him. We're not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But there is no racism that I have ever seen related to items on this commission during the last, I was off for about 2 years, but a good part of 12, 13 years. So I want to make that point very clear on behalf of my experience on this commission.
I appreciate your perspective. I very much do. The last thing I will add is racism is very typically invisibly embedded. It's not overt the way that we think it will be. For example, planning and zoning makes decisions about rezoning and gentrification that affects predominantly low-income people and people of color. So you may not think that racism affects, or you may not see it, but it absolutely does. And that's the point of what we're trying to make. There should be no place for racism, invisibly or otherwise, to influence the decisions. And I'm not talking about gentrification here in Kingman, but I am saying that zoning and rezoning can be influenced by your ideas and your worldview about who should be living in certain areas.
I heard what you said, and I don't want to get into an argument, but I want to make clear what I said. I have never seen anything brought before us that, in my opinion, and I believe we've got legal here all the time to correct us if we do. So, racism is a word that has gotten totally out of control.
Okay, I appreciate that. We're still calling for removal because there should be no racism in any form in county government. Thank you.
Well, again, I think I can speak to that. That's not our responsibility.
Mr. Chairman,
Right?
is item 2 to bring parcel into compliance?
That's correct.
I mean,